As two men clung to a stricken, burning ship targeted by SEAL Team 6, the Joint Special Operations Commander followed the Defense Secretary's order to leave no survivors. The two men were blown apart in the water. Since September, the Trump administration has reportedly killed 83 people in 22 boats in the Eastern Pacific and the Caribbean, all without legal justification, public evidence, or due process. The Trump administration alleges that these boats are flooding the United States with fentanyl from Venezuela, except fentanyl doesn't actually come from Venezuela. But it gets worse. Over the weekend, the Washington Post reported that during one of these military operations, the US authorized a second strike to kill survivors of the first strike while they were shipwrecked in the water. Let's be clear, these strikes are illegal on multiple levels. First, the Trump administration is alleging that we are at war or armed conflict with these cartels, except that's not how it works. Congress is who gets to declare war and peace, and Congress has not declared war. And there's no evidence that the people on these boats pose an imminent threat, which is what you would need to trigger Article 2 of the Constitution. This is just an abuse of power. Second, the US is not in an armed conflict with the cartels. They're not in an armed conflict with Venezuela. They're not in an armed conflict with any other Caribbean nation, which means they have to comply with US and international human rights law. And killing civilians outside of a war, that is just murder. It's murder. Third, even if we were in a war, which we aren't, but even if we were in a war authorized by Congress, the way that they are carrying out these strikes is still illegal because you are not permitted to fire on survivors who are not firing back. These two men were literally clinging to the side of their boat as it was burning. This is textbook. And even if these people are transporting and selling drugs, that is not a capital crime, which means it would not be punished with capital punishment or the death penalty. Countries cannot just intentionally kill combatants whenever they want. They only have the right to kill combatants in the case of an imminent threat, self-defense, or during an armed conflict when the law of armed conflict and the Uniform Code of Military Justice applies. None of those apply here, and Karoline Leavitt's claim of self-defense is absolutely bogus. I represent San Diego, the largest military community in the country, and I sit on the House Armed Services Committee, so I take this very seriously. And we have been briefed on what the Trump administration is doing, and let me tell you, their legal arguments are not convincing. US service members are legally required to not follow an order if it is an illegal order. In fact, service members can be held liable in a domestic US court of law if they follow an order that is unlawful. No matter where they are on the chain of command, our service members need to follow the law. Both Republicans and the Democrats on the House Armed Services Committee are demanding answers on how this strike happened because it is so blatantly illegal. So we'll be doing investigations, we'll be holding hearings. Now, here's one thing that's important to know. None of us, especially me, none of us want there to be drugs killing Americans in the United States. But that's not what this is about. These operations that the Trump administration is doing is not actually preventing fentanyl from coming into our country and killing our young people. We should address that, but this is not how to do that. So make sure to follow, share this video, and stay tuned because this is not the end of the story.